Hardball Gets is brought to you by Tab Touch. Got the touch? Download the Tab Touch app today. Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. This is the Hardball Gets AFL show. My name's Nick Rynne, joined by Xavier Ellis and Ryan Daniels. What's going on?
Oh, not a lot. Did you run another 21Ks?
No, I did on Friday.
Okay.
Did on Friday.
How'd you go? Feel slightly better this time?
Nah, my knee.
Yeah, you weren't walking very well.
Nah, the knee. It was all.
I had to lean down and get the Pepsi Max.
Oh, you had to get the can out for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I did feel ACL-ish at some stage, but no. As I was saying, I'm in an arm wrestle with my body at the moment, and eventually it'll go. He's going to keep doing it, so you may as well just give him some freedom. So,
you reckon it's going to go that way?
the body will say, God, just let him go.
Let it
just
go.
let him go.
Loosen it up.
The body always wins. It
Yeah,
goes the other way.
but I feel like he's going to feel sorry for me eventually and be like, just let him off. Let this one off the hook.
I love that you get to a certain age and you're like, okay, I'm gonna get back on top of things, and then you start running, your body's just like, no, you
Nah.
you're old and dead, mate.
So I was saying, I start at 6 a.m. That's when I take off, and I'm done by 8. But the people who run in the 6 o'clock hour are all like me.
Oh, really?
They're not typically. They're not like the flyers.
Maybe it's where you're running.
Quite possibly, but it's for those who probably aren't confident to be running at 8:30.
Running the darkness.
Yeah, get it done before you're running past 1,000 people.
Yeah,
And,
okay.
So every time I run past people on my little journey, I always tip the hat.
Oh, the running tip of a hat thing is the thing.
Yeah, it's good.
But some people don't do it, and those people
Do you know
are
what
dicks.
generation don't do it? Like the 60, 70, 80-year-olds.
But they don't do the mornings.
Nah. They're so focused, and I've digressed here horribly. But also, when you're walking your dog does, or two dogs, your dogs don't get a lane on the footpath.
Yeah.
They are directly in front of you in your lane,
Yeah.
or to the left on the grass.
Yeah.
Not across the footpath.
2 lanes.
So old fat guts who's got a sore knee needs to turn around your dog.
Yeah.
I almost footed one clean up the arse the other day.
How you got to do it? Just run through them.
Oh, mate, just taking up so much room. No one cares about your dog.
And they've got these long leashes.
Oh, don't the long leashes.
And the dogs move randomly.
Yeah, get out of my way.
So do you know what I do now? I make a point of it.
Yeah.
And I give them I run off the pavement into the grass and then come around.
So
As if to say, I don't trust your animal.
So I don't go that wide. I actually go the opposite.
You go super
I almost
close.
brush shoulders. Yeah, to be like, hey, move over.
You know
Just
what
like
I
if
hate?
you've got a dog on a path, short leash.
Short leash.
Short
Just keep
leash.
it out of the way. And in front or to the left on the grass.
There are runners. There are kids walking around. There's people on bikes.
Oh,
you can
mate.
actually cause a real problem.
This is what I hate. The kid, when you got little kids and you get a dog come. They're friendly. I don't give a shit, mate.
Yeah.
Get your dog out of my 2-year-old's
Yeah,
face.
how about that?
Oh yeah.
Only it takes one.
Yeah.
But are you at a dog?
Am I friendly?
Are you at a dog park?
No.
Yeah, okay.
No, I'm not at a dog park. If I wander into a dog park, that's on me.
All right, I was just thinking that there's a sign if it's a dog park, but no, just get off the path with them.
Did you have another social media post the other day, Nick? Did I
Me?
see one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I saw one.
Oh,
where it
yeah, I
was you,
rolled
like,
one the other day.
thinking about some things. What was
Yeah,
that
and I
one?
just recycled some footage.
What
was
would
it
you
go
do?
with?
Nick Dacos the best in the comp, even though
wonder
my
who got
heart of
that.
heart, it's Marcus Bontempelli.
You've got people arguing for you about that.
Oh, everyone's
Yeah.
hard on Bontempelli.
Yeah.
And they're angry about
Was he getting
you.
traction?
Yeah, man, I
for
told you
Bont.
this stuff's getting traction.
Yeah, for Bont.
How much traction are we talking?
3
This is
people.
good, man. This is good.
No, you had a few people saying, Nick,
But that one's
stop
got- that
letting.
one's-
You got to speak up in the podcast. Stop letting Zave bully you into thinking it's Nick Dacos.
I only got about 5,000. That's not bad.
5,000.
5,000 views, yeah.
Oh, views. Okay, that doesn't. I thought you meant likes.
No.
Yeah.
Views.
We're not operating in
Those
those.
numbers aren't. They're not real.
But we still we'll throw Bont has come back special. It's
Oh,
a
yeah.
it's a 1-2 punch.
Yeah,
I just think
yeah.
Nick's a different breed. But anyway, that's my opinion.
It's about Nick Dacos and myself.
Well, you're also a different breed. Hey, really quickly, someone sent me something during the week. Now, Josh, I don't know if you've got it or not. You do. Okay, so you know how Ryan Daniels.
Here we go.
You pretend that you're so neutral, and I'm the neutral reporter for 7. This
go
got
for a
sent to
team.
me multiple. Don't go for a team.
No, I know what this is going to be, and I've listened back to this.
Hang on.
Because someone reached
hang
out to
on,
me, and I
hang
think
on, hang on.
I think I'm in the right here.
All right,
so-
now you're talking
Go
about
on.
Fremantle
Yeah,
here.
go on.
Hit play. Melbourne
me.
at the MCG beating Freo. Like,
some of us saw that coming.
Yeah, well, yeah.
did you?
I told you last
Oh,
week
you
that
did
we were
say.
going to lose.
You did say.
They were going to lose. Not we were going to lose.
We were going to lose.
No, it says they
listen
were
to
going
the
to. I
last
told you
sentence.
last week. I was
Hang on,
drinking water.
all right.
They were going to lose.
We were going to lose is what you say at the
no, I
end.
said
Go
no.
again. Melbourne
me.
at the MCG beating Freo. Like,
Some of us saw that coming.
Yeah, well, yeah.
did you?
I told you last
Oh,
week
you
that
did
we're
say.
going to lose.
You did say.
They were going to lose.
That we're going to lose.
No,
We're gonna lose.
It was they were going to lose.
No, that's a where we're going to lose.
That you can hear whatever you want to hear.
It's like the gold dress, blue dress, or whatever it is.
But what are Yanni
That
Laurel?
is, no,
yeah.
clearly you can hear me drinking
Yanni.
water,
Yeah.
and I say they were going to lose. Why would
Okay.
I say we?
So I had that said to me multiple times. by
I
people
know.
thinking
I had people saying to me saying you should remove this before Zay finds it.
Well, I found
I
it.
said there's nothing to worry
I
about.
found
I've
it,
done
don't
nothing
worry.
wrong.
I think we need to do an audit on the family trust and just see what money's flowing in there from who. Just
No, I'm not worried
I
about the
reckon it's
finances.
about even in terms of I reckon it'd be about even.
I'm just worried about the opinions.
This
That's
is
all I'll
why-
say.
I don't know. That was a they. That was a they. There's
All
no
right,
we in
okay.
this.
All right, let's plow
There's
on.
no we. I'm a football
All right.
bachelor.
let's get into it. Lead us off, Save.
Nice try.
I'll lead us off on last night's game. Hawthorn won by 50 points. Game was done and dusted at quarter time. I know the margin was a goal, but it was 11 scoring shots to 3 or 10 scoring shots to 3. It was done
they missed some
like
easy ones.
it was done like a dinner at quarter time.
Played with their food a bit, Hawthorn.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
was
You walk away from
which-
that game feeling really good
No,
about
you
Hawthorn?
don't. No, you don't. No.
There's some problems there.
Well, yeah, Will Day
I think there's problems
and no
with everybody.
forward.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
problems everywhere, right?
They've got no forwards and they've got no Will Day. But what I wanted to talk about was the Tom Barras to full forward created a bit of a steam.
yeah.
I wasn't aware of it. In my group chat, we're watching the game, and not one of us threw into the chat anything other than Tom Barras is forward. Like, not one of us even thought for a second it was going to.
It's a
It's
bit of a
a
dig.
smug move or anything
So
like that.
for anyone who hasn't caught up to this, post-game, Minnie McQualter was asked about Tom Barras going forward and your thoughts on that, and he paused for about 7 seconds, which is
the emergency tape nearly kicked in with the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
correct. It felt like a long time.
Sometimes I
And then he
feel-
just sort of said, look, I'm not going to comment on
Yeah.
it. I don't know what's going on with their club. And then he was asked about the pause, and he just said, how many times has Tom Barras played forward?
Yeah.
Tom's kicked one goal in his career.
Yeah.
I think the insinuation was, and I'll
They're
ask
taking the
Minnie
piss.
again tonight, that they were maybe taking the piss, trying to get Tom Barras a goal for his
But I still don't think
new
that-
club against his old club so he could have a bit of a party.
Yeah,
and
okay.
Sam Mitchell kind of
But is
agreed
that a
with
bad
that.
thing when you're not good enough to
I think
play
you're
with
up
them?
and about. Like, yeah.
Like if you're not good enough to compete with them, why should they stick to what they want to
So-
stick to?
so
Like stick to what they had stuck to.
In Sam's defence, he went on to say that they were just trying some new things, and they've done that with Sicily, and they might have done it with Battle, but he was
yeah.
playing really well, and yada yada. However, your co-host on radio this morning put it very well, Katie.
Be unusual.
Yes, she nailed it. It was just like it's similar to in like netball. If you're winning by a lot in the last quarter, you just throw the bibs up and the
Yeah.
GK goes to GS and
Yeah.
I might get a goal. I haven't got
We
a
had a-
goal before.
we had a similar thing in the
it
Amos.
feels a little bit arrogant.
Yeah.
We had a
okay.
similar thing in the Amos when we were losing by a lot. The
Yeah.
coach threw the board down, all the names came off the board, and he just
Yeah.
said, backs go forward, forwards go back.
Yeah, it's 100%. No, so what I really quickly thought,
Arrogance?
I thought James Sicily's had a really, really poor fortnight, a horrible poor fortnight. He was not going to go forward.
No.
He's gone forward in the previous weeks, and I reckon it's put him out
But
of
we
form.
like it as well. If it was a bit of a dick move, that's great.
So I knew Sicily wasn't going to go forward. I was certain of that. I thought he was going to get him
All
forward.
right, give me out of 100. What's the smug rating here? Because if you say less than 50, you're full of shit.
No, I think that's
don't
a good
think-
70.
Nah,
So
I don't
70,
think so.
it's a minimum 70 on the smug rating.
If they hadn't been sending a defender, a key defender to forward every single week, maybe a 70. They've done it every
If that was
single
the case,
week.
If that was the case, we were looking at 100.
It could be, but they've
This
done
is
it.
a 70. We're
They've
giving
done
the
it
30
every
No.
single week.
The 30
and
discount.
Sicily was never going to go forward.
The 30 discount is because of that.
Yes.
Otherwise, it's 100.
smug.
It's 100.
That reminded me of.
I don't think it's smug.
He wanted the moment.
So every time someone goes forward from defence, it's smug.
No. When it's Tom Barras who's kicked one goal in his career against his old club
Yeah.
when you're winning the game by what was
And
it,
there's been a lot of stuff around.
There's
Oscar.
been,
there's a
there's
bit of
been
there's
a
a bit
lot
of-
of stuff.
I think it's a one-sided rivalry.
You're in
at the
trouble
moment.
here.
Why?
Well, these are your two children.
Yeah,
You know, you're in two tents here. Well, you're in
Yeah.
a lot of tents, but these are your two biggest tents. What are they fighting?
Well, they shouldn't be fighting. Really quickly, so I know the sign's gone. At the moment, Oscar Allen's picked 2.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
let him go.
They shouldn't be fighting. It should be brotherly love.
Should be like a festival or something.
Yeah. Brotherly love.
Sunday lunch.
Anyway, there you
Hold
go.
on, where's mine? All right, let's do this. Let's go to. We'll get Brisbane out of the way because they're pretty boring at the moment.
They are
Brisbane.
boring.
They're so boring at the moment. Lockie Neal, great game.
Geelong are
31-3.
boring. They're in that area.
They're in that space.
Yeah.
I did want to highlight. I think Hugh McCluggage is having an outstanding season.
Well, he managed
Yeah.
to find Windy Windhager.
Yeah, so you know he's going
Tagged,
really well.
yeah, tagged
No,
him.
I think he's having a really good year. I think we've always sort of
we're all having a
thought
good
Nick
year.
Luggage is a good player, a nice player.
Yeah, well, he got tagged in that grand final when he got off the chain in the first quarter,
Yeah.
and then who went to him? Jordan went to him in the grand final.
Yeah, same draft as
Really
Taranto, McGrath, that draft, isn't he? McCluggage?
Yeah, because
that sort of draft. So those guys now are in
Fremantle
there.
should have had that pick. I can't remember what it was. Jesse Hogan, they slid back.
Was it Griffin Logue? Was
No,
that one?
you think they might have taken Griffin Logue.
I'm still a bit nervous about their forward line. There's no
Oh,
Joe.
yeah, no, definitely.
No. It's the
And
weirdest.
Charlie hasn't fired yet.
Charlie has not fired
No,
a shot.
Charlie's
Kai
real.
Loman can't stay on the pitch. Like the 6-1 feels so false.
Yeah, so
But
they
I'm
got the
giving them
Q clash
respect.
this week.
They're a premiership team, so you've got to give them the respect.
Of course.
Yeah.
And do you hear Dermy during the pre-game? You need to rev them up to see whether they're going to fire up. And Faye's like, to be fair, we turn up.
Yeah,
More
we
time.
get it done.
We generally turn up
We're
with
6-1.
the premiers.
Yeah.
I
we
reckon
turn up. Like,
if you-
like what?
If you took a casual footy fan, like who hasn't looked at the ladder, and you said to them, "What's Brisbane's record this year?" I reckon
Yeah.
they guess like 4-3.
Yeah.
It just
could
feels.
be.
It just feels like a 4-3
Well, it's better
start.
than the 0 or 1 and 5 or 2
Well,
and 5 or
I was
whatever
going to
they
say
were
the
last year.
scary thing
Yeah.
is they're banking these wins.
Where's their
and they're not
growth?
even playing well.
Or you reckon they're just going to just keep winning?
I reckon.
Well,
they're-
their growth is all there. They're just going to, at some point, flick the switch.
Maybe not, but they might just be the premiership defence team that just goes right. We'll just be around the
Would
mark.
you say
Yeah,
back
that's
to
what
backs
I
on the
mean.
cards?
It's not impossible.
Yeah.
I think they're
I'm not-
are they the favourites? If not, they're
Nah,
probably.
Collingwood are.
I would say the lack of Joe, and I know we keep coming back to it. You cannot forget that he was
prelim.
so good in those finals.
Yeah.
We won the finals for
The
them.
pre-
They're
he
not
won
even
that.
there.
Was it the prelim or the semi that he won just completely? for him?
The semi was the one.
Semi was
Yeah.
the
And he
V,
kicked the
the
goal late.
Giants.
And the prelim
Yeah.
was good too.
He was good around.
Yeah, but the one against the Giants, he won that
yeah,
game.
he's
For
ju-
them.
yeah.
Like, he
From the
did it.
kicking goals from
Yeah.
the boundary and stuff. Yeah.
Okay, over to me. Gold Coast. Well, God help us all if Bailey Humphrey reaches his full potential and maintains it. Because we thought, I was starting to waver on this kid a little bit because we obviously saw his potential early days and thought
I think we all backed out a little bit,
and then,
for sure.
because he kind of just meandered a bit
Yeah.
last maybe 12 months. And then just to go when, clamps are on Rowell and Anderson a bit, they need someone to fire. He comes out with 4 goals, 18 disposals, 13 of those contested as well. So he wasn't getting an easy
he's
ball.
scary in the way that, for example, we just spoke about Charlie Cameron. If Charlie Cameron's buzzing around the forward line as a defender, you're not going to get hurt by Charlie. Humphreys can hurt you, I think.
Oh, physically.
I think
yes.
physically.
Yeah.
Sorry, I mean physically.
He's so
Like,
strong.
They're very different. He's not a tall player,
No.
but
he's
you don't want to wrestle him.
tough.
He's got could be a bit De-Goey-ish if
I
he
was
was to
just
play
going to say,
forward
I feel like
there.
De-Goey is the comparison here.
But I
Yeah.
think he's better. Like he's up the field. You see that kick he ripped in the first quarter to hit King on the tip?
Yeah, that was
from
nice.
the wing.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it wouldn't have gone more than 2
He
metres
kicked
above the
he kicked
ground.
a shot from. He blasted a shot about 60
yeah,
as
60
well.
odd. And it went through half post high.
We were early on. I know a lot of people.
No, I think everyone
But then
was
we
early.
checked out a bit.
Yeah, well,
Everybody checked out.
I've got no.
You're not back in yet.
Well, I'm sold out.
Oh, really?
No, I'm not.
your stocks are
You
gone?
can't just. You
Are
got
you trying to get back in?
Oh, I'm interested. Yeah, but I got to
Yeah,
take. You
okay.
got to take a stance. You got to stand for something.
I feel like
I was
after-
in, and then I was out.
Look,
Like,
after the weekend, the shares are
yeah, up.
fine.
So
they're
I'm
shot.
I'm permanently out at the moment.
Just
I can't
gonna let
afford to
someone
buy
else
back
have
in.
that one.
Yeah, I can't afford to buy back in.
Yeah.
But I'm
Yeah.
going to end with egg on my face.
How
at
was
moment.
the Lukosius kick? You know, the 70-metre out directly
Yeah,
in
well,
front.
yeah, that's
Remember that
it.
one 2 years ago that we kept watching over and over? It was the same thing.
Yeah, well,
It was just like,
basically.
I'll just have a crack from you.
Yeah.
Just
I'll have a
boom.
ping. I can do this. And
Right
yeah,
through.
like it was half post height. No one was getting a hand
Yes,
on
And
it.
they were talking
Remarkable.
about King's blank check last night. Tommy Morris.
I saw that.
What's his
He's
blank
not,
check?
he's not that good, is he?
I don't think he's a blank check guy. I
don't
thought
think
that
he's
was
a
a bit
blank check.
surprising too.
I
Someone
look
did
back-
say a couple of weeks ago that my takes are better than Tom's. That is one I would use.
Yeah, I don't
Tommy,
think
it's
he's
not your
blank check.
finest
Do you
moment.
remember the 1990s movie Blank Check? Did you ever watch that? A kid finds a blank check and like writes a number on it, and he's like a multi-millionaire. I looked it back. He was only
Was Macaulay Culkin in that? It
No,
feels like
it
a
was
Macaulay
very
Culkin.
Macaulay. It was like a Richie Rich time.
Yeah,
But
they couldn't afford.
the check was only $1 million.
Ironically, they couldn't afford Macaulay
They couldn't
Culkin
afford Macaulay
to
yeah.
get in the movie. Otherwise,
Well,
it would have been a much bigger
Well,
movie.
you look back and you think about property prices. He only got $1 million out of that deal, and he got a mansion, mate.
I had 27 disposals on the weekend. I kicked a goal. I had 7 marks. I was pretty contested, but I also 4 tackles in there. I pissed off a lot of people at one of the changes.
Jason Horn-Francis.
Jason Horn-Francis. So Port Adelaide, let's go there. How do you see that playing out? Look, don't get me wrong. I think the Hornet was harshly spoken about as a first-year player when he was at North.
Yep,
And he obviously wasn't doing everything he should have.
correct.
Now going to Port, he carries on a little bit like a pork chop.
Yep.
But he is so good. So what's the balance for Kenny? Because if Farrell, for example, comes off and has an argument and then wants to walk off from Kenny mid-conversation,
Farrell's getting dropped.
Farrell doesn't cop that treatment.
Probably gets subbed right
So
there.
where is the line for Jason Horne-Francis? You know he's got a bit of carry on. You know he's probably your best player, at least, if not the best, second best, you'd say.
Yep.
I don't think in front of Rosie. But anyway, where do you go?
The line has to be the coach.
Yeah, I just look at it and go, shit, I can't see Georgiades walking off going, I see ya. And then, don't get me wrong, I'm seeing the leaders grab him and pull him back in, but why are the two leaders standing with the coach and their second best player?
Because they know he's a nutter.
Yeah, but rather than just doing like it's interesting. And I loved it.
I think-
but I was like, if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander.
I think the line is the coach. And I am not, I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised that you're reacting like this, like it's all funny and it's okay. And Kane Corns was saying that he loved it and how good it was. I was like, if this were Harley Reid.
Oh,
No, I'm not saying
Mate,
I loved it. I think that the horses.
Pretty sure you just said you loved it. Can we get that tape?
Sorry, okay, mate.
If we could do playback, I'm pretty sure you just said I loved it.
The horses bolted.
Yeah.
That standard's been set for Jason Horne-Francis.
So what if that was Harley?
Well, Harley's not Jason Horne-Francis.
No, not
they
yet.
couldn't
But
carry
they're
his
following.
boots.
They're very much following the same career timeline. Not putting in the work, coming in a little bit. Is he working hard
Moving
enough?
home.
And then flashes of brilliance, but a lot of nothing.
Okay, if I said I loved it, I didn't love it because if no, because if I
in the reverse,
well, no, I love him and his competitiveness, and that overflows.
yeah, I think. The
But
line's
my
the-
point being, if it's good enough for him, then Kane Farrell can spray Kenny and walk off.
Kane Farrell's listening to this going, you know what I'm going to do?
I'm going to do
Joe,
it.
man,
Yeah.
like,
stuff it.
Yeah.
imagine
so.
that. X said I can do it.
Yeah.
Kenny.
Oh, do you know?
But just
No,
Kenny,
Kenny, you're not even the coach next
what's
year.
your opinion of it all?
I don't like. I don't
Didn't look-
like
didn't
walking
look
away
good.
from the coach. That's bad. That's a.
But what about the
bad
fact
look.
that two leaders have to be there as like the umpires to
yeah,
the
yeah.
argument?
Marriage counselling.
There has to be a fork in the road somewhere.
Zach Butters was funny because it's like, mate, you're the same guy.
Yeah.
So what are you doing? Maybe that's why he's there.
Setting the standard.
Okay, let's go to the Adelaide Crows. Geez, it looked a bit out of sorts, and I think that was a lot to do with the way Fremantle played them. The thriller finger, it looked nasty. Apparently, it's not too bad, and he might even play this week.
They came back on, didn't they?
They've lost 3 out of 4 now. They were ambushed straight out of the gate. They didn't really have a plan for what Fremantle played with so much energy, so much effort.
27 free
They-
kicks halfway through the second
They
quarter too. Oh my
were
god, the
very,
umpires.
very good.
They were
Fremantle.
for a
Umpires
quarter.
were
As
They were,
opposed to we.
for a quarter, they were very good.
2 quarters.
Uh,
Was it second
They
and
kicked,
third?
they kicked 6 goals after quarter time.
if you're just,
Oh, is
talking,
it first and
if you're just
third?
talking about goals being kicked.
Yeah, no, but the pressure that they've don't. Andy Brayshaw always said this morning, 4th favourite for the Brown though. He's having a
outstanding.
purple patch,
Yeah.
and the way they forced Jordan Dawson, who I was so pumped to watch Jordan Dawson
Didn't
play,
touch the footy in the last quarter.
kicked the ball over his head or over his
Yeah.
shoulder, snap. I reckon 8 times.
Bizarre.
Like it was.
The Crows' first
yeah.
2 goals were fluky, ranking off half a step, and Saliko sort of fell over and then picked
Yeah.
himself up and,
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
finished it, which was a nice finish. But that was exactly how you want to play the Adelaide Crows. Are we now thinking they had the GWS win, which I ticked off last week and said, great, you've beaten somebody. But are we thinking they're any good? Because the Carlton Adelaide game this week is suddenly monstrous.
So
No,
who
I
are
don't
we
think- I
talking
don't-
about here?
Adelaide.
I don't think many people are very good.
Uh,
I think they're on the higher end.
no,
of the
I'm
not very
unders
good
on
ones.
Adelaide, and I'm still confident I'm unders.
Now
I'm
you're
unders and
feeling
locked.
pretty good
Yeah,
because Nick had him winning the flag.
Yeah,
2 weeks
I'm-
ago.
Give it time.
I'm unders, and even the Adelaide game, the Giants game, it was 30 to 50.
It's the back line for me. And Adelaide.
The key tools are.
I think they lack an absolute
Darcy
lockdown,
Fogarty
shut
made
down
a
key
difference
tool.
too.
Yeah, but we
Yeah,
like,
of course, yeah.
we liked the workman-like nature of that backline, but maybe they need a little bit more class.
Nah,
there
the
in a
back
key-
line.
a
The
key
back
position.
line is, and they gave away so many free
Laird had a
kicks.
lot of the footy.
He's done that for 10 years.
Yeah, I don't know if any of it was that damaging.
Nah.
I kind of looked at it and went, oh, shit, Rory Laird's had 28.
No, it's not
to
damaging at all.
whatever.
It's not damaging at all.
Yeah.
I thought I did say in the call at one stage, maybe Jordan Dawson to half back, just to at least,
Something had to
at least have his kicks going, shoulders forward, and try and set it up. But they were poor.
Well, I'll switch up over to the people they beat last week, GWS. So there are more red flags coming up. Is their midfield good? Do we overrate it?
It's hard to say. Look,
Probably. None of them want to play.
based on what we've seen.
Well, this is on the weekend. So they lost the inside 50s 45 to 60. He lost the clearances 33 to 55. Like, they just got a number done on it.
They got absolutely slaughtered. But the Bulldogs...
Midfield is unbelievable.
When are we going to start frothing the Bullies?
Yeah.
But
well, I like to make... Yeah, we'll go to the Bulldogs later. But that's... and they stuffed around. Like, the Tsunami isn't there anymore. They had some more disposals than the opposition, but it didn't go anywhere.
Do you remember what I said last week?
Yeah.
There was 12 inside 50s from 138 disposals between their big four.
Tsunami, what do you say? Tsunami's now a whirlpool in the middle of the ground.
Oh, no.
Did you come up with that?
I just came up with that.
I liked it, but it's more like a rip. The ball's going backwards. That's what it is.
And then bounces out.
Lockie Ash is getting so much of the footy.
Irrelevant football.
Lockie Whitfield, the two Lockies.
Let me just quickly get up there inside 50s.
Well, it was inside 50s were 45, at 45 to 60.
Okay, so Finn Callaghan had 6, which was 3 times more than he had last time.
Yeah.
Lockie Ash had 2. And who was the other one I was chasing?
Halfback, so you wouldn't expect more.
Whitfield had 0. No, you do. If they're having it 30 times, you get up the ground and put it in. Stop going 30 metres laterally behind the kicker to get a cheapie.
There's a couple, and I think so the mids on the weekend were Green, then Briggs, Kelly, Callaghan.
Briggs is getting beaten a bit.
Briggs is getting
smashed.
They got a kid in the VFL called Nick Madden who they seem to really, really like.
You've got to try him.
I think it's
a different look.
Do you look at a point and going, well, do we need to either play two ruck, or do we need to give this Madden kid a go?
Well,
see what happens.
Do you know the moment I knew the
Battle of the Bridge this week?
Battle of the Bridge. But did you know the actual moment I knew the Giants were cast?
When?
Cast. On TikTok. My algorithm.
Oh, yeah, what'd you get?
One of the players, I think it was Stone. Now, I could be wrong.
Connor Stone?
Could be wrong. Now, his girlfriend did a TikTok.
No. Oh, no.
And she got him a present.
Oh.
And the present was a pair of footy boots of the Asics variety.
Oh, there you go. It's nice.
On the football boots is a photo of his Labrador.
Oh, no.
On the footy boot is a dog.
Oh, no.
Not a dog.
It's like a custom made.
Custom made.
What do you get the logo?
With a golden lab on the boot.
Oh, I don't like that.
Unless it's like he uses it as a punchline, like get a dog up here, and then he kicks people.
Nah.
It's a Labrador, not a
It's
pit bull.
Marley and me, mate. It's Marley and me moments. That's it. We can put the sword in the. That's when
they lost the
sword
flag.
in the stone. It makes more sense. That's when Stone cooked it for everyone when he had
Sword in the
Labrador
stone.
boots.
Was that on purpose?
Yeah,
No,
that's why I backed
totally
over it.
We need to keep doing this shit.
It was an accident, and then he realised it was good.
Then
he went
back over it. But imagine that. Can you imagine running out in a grand final, ready to rock and roll, and you look down, the bloke's got his Labrador on his feet?
At least be a threatening dog.
Oh, God, if my wife gave me them. Oh,
You'd have to-
Here we
shit.
go.
But
There
this is
you
the
go.
thing.
There's a
But this is
birthday
the thing,
present.
if you're Connor, you got to wear them.
No, you don't. You got to have the
But
hard.
how do you have
the
that?
hard conversation. Yeah.
The boot. You put him in the boot room. Somehow they got.
I'd say
up.
blisters. And maybe I've got the wrong player, so apologies, but I did see it. You would say blisters, and you'd say, Dale, I'll have to wear these in the off season.
Yeah.
And then you go to Hawaii or wherever you want to go, even if you have to go on a cruise,
Accidentally leave 'em.
You just throw them off. And the Dolphins' problem now.
And then you're emailing Qantas, like pretending to be
Yeah,
filthy.
they lost my
How
bag.
dare you lose? These are really... No, because you can't overcook this. They should get you another pair. With like 6 dogs
I've got to try and find the Labrador boots. Anyway, all right, ploughing on. Is it back to it's me?
I think
Is
it's
it?
back to you.
Geelong. Okay, so they were okay in patches yesterday. That was a pretty good game of football. Carlton.
It was a good game of footy.
Well done to Carlton. Now Geelong, I was another one I was down on this year. And remember I said I don't think I'll make
you
the
were
finals.
out of the institution.
I'm out. Now they've won 4 games this year, but they've got a decent run coming up.
Everyone's won 4 and 3.
There's
a lot.
I'm telling you, I don't know who's good.
Tom Stewart looked very sore.
He did.
He hasn't played at a level in a while.
Mate, he is running on fumes.
It has for a year. And last year, until he moved to the midfield and did a little bit in the midfield. Maybe he was getting tagged out of games. Couldn't see.
But he's not young. He's like 33, 34.
Outstanding player, but he has had a bit of a down period, over a long down period. Their run. Now, listen to this. So Geelong have Collingwood.
Is that this week?
This week.
When's that? Saturday?
Oh, don't ask me on dates.
It's Saturday.
Then they roll into the Giants.
Saturday night.
Then they roll into Port Adelaide in Adelaide.
Oof.
Then they've got the Doggies.
Oh, that'll be good.
That'll be a good game. But
tough run.
Doggy start
That's
final.
a
Doggy start favourites in my mind.
Bailey Smith return.
Yeah. Then they've got West Coast.
Okay, so that's a good one.
And Suns away.
But West Coast will be here. Would it?
Ooh, don't know. Suns are away though.
Actually, West Coast is here. It's just Sunday
so,
night.
So Suns are definitely
and then
away.
Suns away.
So they've got Collingwood.
One easy kill in there.
One. And they won't be favourites against Collingwood.
Jesus.
Maybe Giants. They won't be favourites against Port Adelaide in Adelaide. Bulldogs 50-50, and they won't be favourites against the Suns in Gold Coast.
This could
Yeah,
spiral.
right.
This is a big 4 or 5 weeks.
I see that one that on the weekend is a bit of an aberration. They just move on. Like I'm
If
confident
they,
they come
if
out
they,
of that
if
pretty
that's,
well.
did you guess? Was there 6 games there?
Yeah, West Coast.
So
Maybe 4-2.
if they go 3-3, they'll survive.
Yeah, but then the ledger's even and they're halfway
No,
through
but
the season.
it's a tough. But that's the tough patch. So you would assume after
Yeah.
that there's got to be some games
Yeah,
coming.
Yeah, but
an easy one.
they did play in the prelim last year.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah,
Tough
so there's
run.
going to be tough finishes at least.
Western Bulldogs. Let's give them a little bit of love. That midfield is flying. Is Matt Kennedy the recruit of the year? And I put some names down here because
Funny you
Bailey
say
Smith's been
that.
good, but he's expensive.
On the weekend, he kicked the goal, and I said, geez, he might be recruit of the year.
Well,
Well, in terms of value for
Value
money.
value and
I wrote
everything,
down Bailey Smith, Dan Rioli, and Shea Bolton. They've all been good, but they cost a lot more. Matt Kennedy was basically free.
Yeah.
He was a last-second trade deal,
Yeah.
late pick. Like,
Yeah.
it wouldn't have cost him much
Irrelevant.
money. And he's been sensational. And I think we've all seen patches from Matt Kennedy. High draft pick. Just never quite fit in at GWS. They had so much talent. He could never be the guy. Carlton,
But he even
had
spoke. He even
patches.
spoke in an interview I've seen how he found it really hard to fit in naturally into a footy club in general, not
Right.
fit into the
Oh,
team.
okay.
Yeah, right.
But the lifestyle
Which
and
when
stuff.
you're away as well.
Is he a Christian?
I don't know.
I think he might have a bit of religion in him
Right.
and stuff. And I reckon when he was at Carlton, yeah, certainly, I'm certain. When he was at Carlton, he found a little
Jeez,
bit more
you're
of that.
casting a lot of
No, and he's
lot of
been using
assumptions
he's
here.
been using the church.
Connor Stone with his Labrador, Matt Kennedy's big churchgoer.
Shit, have I got the right bloke? No, I'm certain that he's found more balance since being in Melbourne and obviously at the Bulldogs. But it also opens up Bontempelli to do what he wants to
does.
do.
Yeah.
His line has been 22 and a half disposals the first 2
Kennedy?
weeks.
Oh, Bont.
But he got subbed out
Yeah,
on
he
22.
Did he?
Yep.
Oh, that looks like it hurts you.
That's a much better. Like if you look
But
at the midfield, Western Bulldogs midfield, and we talked about all the people going in last
Yeah.
year. Now it's Bont, Libba, Richards, Fraser, Kennedy.
What happens with Trelaw?
That's what draws in.
It's like another week
Could
to
be
go.
a winger.
Yeah, put him in the
Yes.
wing.
Yeah.
Because Ed Rich, and that's why we have this. I'm not actually going to go down that path. I'm not doing it today.
What is it?
The McRae arguments.
I know.
But that's why-
free zone.
But that's why he would not be in that team because Ed Richards is a star.
Ed Richards is
Liver's
a
a
star.
star. Bont's obviously
Our
a
man
mega star.
Fraser.
Fraser played brilliantly on the weekend.
Yeah.
And then Trelaw's got to come back in, plus Kennedy.
Yeah.
It's a deep midfield.
And
And that's why when we just talk about Geelong, maybe that's the difference, the depth in midfield.
does feel like that.
Like they are
You
deep.
can have your Bailey Smiths, but
Yeah.
Oh, that
What else you
was you gotta love the GWS social when Bont got subbed off and they retweeted it and just said thank you.
Did they? Good on them.
All right, we'll go to Fremantle. So there's a lot to like, obviously, last Friday night, but creating goals is a key in any team, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there was one man on Friday night who kicked 2 himself, gave off 3. And I don't think he put a foot wrong. He halved every contest he was
It's
in.
about Oscar
I'm
McDonald.
talking about Oscar McDonald.
Mate, in my column today, I wrote, what I like, didn't like, what I'd like to see. And I said, I do not want to see the easy decision made at the selection
Oscar
table with
out.
Jackson returning. Oscar McDonald shouldn't be omitted.
He did everything you want him to do.
And the week before, like Oscar McDonald, and if you need him to go back, if something goes back, this sounds so stupid we're talking about these
I
people
know.
like this. But they add more than other players who are highly paid at that football club.
but you're not going to, like, if Jackson's playing the Oscar McDonald role, you are going to be slightly better off, aren't you?
But if Jackson's playing the ruck role,
So you're saying drop Sean Darcy to keep
I'm
Oscar
just
McDonald
saying.
in
I'm just
the
saying the magnets need to go up and be weighed, pros and cons for each position, because
it's hard to drop him.
it's so
it's
easy.
easy to drop him of the week
it's
on
easy.
name, but
It's
hard
Easy. It's easy to drop
when you
him.
actually look at his performance.
What do we assume will be on the selection table?
Well,
on
assume he's
Thursday?
out, Jackson's in.
Yeah.
Are you, is the media in general, I was going to say, are you guys,
You're
Are you
the
a little-
only actual
are you a little too negative on the Freo stuff? Like, because they had a
Oh,
brilliant
here we
win, and you've sort of picked it apart a little bit.
No,
We've
we're just
just
talking
pumped
about
up
Oscar McDonald,
mate.
how many
But
other
no
people
one in
say
Australia.
no,
No one in Australia is talking about Oscar McDonald.
You've spun it into dropping Sean Darcy, which is a
No,
negative
no,
story.
I'm saying he has worked
yeah, he
himself into a
can't-
position where it's a tough conversation.
It's a tough conversation.
He's
but we
missed
don't-
12 months with an ACL, and
we
now
know
they're
how
coming
it's going to go.
I probably.
Correct.
Oh, we haven't. I was just going to say I probably would have had him in the votes rather than
No, you
a
wouldn't.
Matthew Johnson. I would have given him a vote.
I
I would
did
have given
the
Oscar
vote.
McDonald.
I did the voting.
Yeah, I know. We did hear this.
Yeah.
You went finagled your way in as chairman.
I didn't. No, I legitimately got
okay.
a phone call, and they said,
Yeah.
"Would you be the chair for the vote?"
But no one
After a
cares.
12-month
since
campaign of getting on a voting
ever
panel
since
somewhere.
you rang someone to go on a voting campaign.
I didn't ring anyone. No,
First time you did.
No, I didn't ring anyone.
First time you
Just
I
did.
said,
just said, "Look,
here
if you need someone,
That's
I'm
a ring.
available."
No, you just.
If anyone's new to the show, Ryan Daniels over here, the Derby medal.
Yeah,
Everyone gets to vote on it,
except
Yeah.
him.
and you just
Not
wait and get
everyone.
told, and
Not
you just get
everyone.
wait, and they ask you, and you say, "Yeah, cool, whatever," or "No, thanks."
Yeah.
No one in the history of any sort of voting system has emailed or called to say, "Hey, can
That's
I please do
not
it?" Yes, it is.
No, we were talking about other things.
Oh,
and I
yeah,
said, just
yeah,
hey,
yeah,
if-
sure,
look,
sure,
I've never
sure.
done it before. I'm keen.
Yeah.
It's, it's weird.
No
that
one's
I hadn't
ever done that.
It's weird that I hadn't been asked.
How's
to
that
vote.
weird?
Well, because I've been around for 17 years. I
How's
think at
it
some
weird?
point they'd go, "Hey, do you want to vote on this game?"
Oh, sorry, Luke Hodge. Sit this one out. Ryan Daniels is in.
Yes, Hodges here for the derbies.
Sorry, Luke McFarlane. Sorry, Pav. Let's just chill out, guys.
No, you got to have a spread. Okay. All I'm saying is I've done it twice
Yeah,
now,
okay.
and I haven't stuffed it up once.
Yeah, that was an easy one on the
sure,
weekend.
yeah,
It was.
Well, the first part was easy.
Brayshaw.
Yes, no one cared after the
I went
first one.
Brayshaw, Sarong,
3-2-3.
Clark.
That's what I did for Triple M.
There you go.
Good show. Oscar McDonald, give me.
Yeah, but you could never vote. You'd
No,
be
no,
so
no.
weird.
My votes
You'd
would be great.
Oscar McDonald 3, Isaac Rankin would somehow get 2, even though they
Just one.
lost.
Just one. And before we leave the Dockers, as a proud major sponsor of the Fremantle Football Club, Woodside has accepted the challenge of supporting local footy at all levels, from grassroots to greatness, so it can thrive throughout WA. Woodside, Australia's leading energy company.
And before we move on, can you just admit that it was a good coaching performance?
It was a great performance all round.
I liked it, and I like the.
So
the,
on Friday, who was the only one that picked Freo?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
true.
So who was the only one who had money on Freo?
Oh, I'm not sure
Sorry,
what you do with your money.
so I even put my actual hard earned on it because I believed in Freo, unlike you,
Who was voting?
didn't.
Tipping is different. I'm just saying after the fact.
I'm just after the
well done.
so after the
well
fact,
done.
come join me because I actually said they would
Yeah,
win.
he's in.
So
We're out.
come join. You two were the two that said no.
Okay, who you got?
So say sorry.
No,
say sorry.
No,
say
no,
sorry.
no, no, no.
Say sorry.
No, get stuff.
Say sorry.
We'll do this for an hour.
Say
I
sorry.
will not say sorry.
Say I forgot that you actually were
No,
the
no,
only
no,
one.
no, no.
You were the only one that made
No,
a
no,
case
no.
to them winning that game.
No,
in front
because
of
often you do the reverse jinx. Like you try to pump them up so that when they lose.
no. They're
When
playing.
he sits down and unrolls the sleeping bag, you get a shock to find you sitting next to him.
So now they're playing St Kilda this weekend.
Decent Kilda.
So I've got the Saints. They will get whacked by Freo.
Mate, even
And
the,
this
even
is
the
not the reverse.
prospect
You're not
of saying
doing a reverse?
sorry.
No. I said it this morning. St Kilda are,
Awful.
like McRae, Steele, those guys, they've always put their head over it, but that midfield is just going to get absolutely slaughtered. Let's go. Let's play a little game. Who would you rather be? St Kilda or in
Okay.
terms of future?
Hold on, what do they
This-
got? They got Wangan Miller, they got Wilson,
They got
Travaglia,
and the best small forward in the comp.
Travalia, whatever he's called.
Higgins, Jack Higgins.
Yeah, no, but get
Okay.
building form.
Okay,
Building
all right.
form. West Coast?
Rather be West Coast. They got cash.
Probably by the end of the year, it'd say West Coast.
Correct.
Yeah,
Right.
As a club, they got more.
No, but yeah, right now you'd say St Kilda, but
Just.
in
Mate,
6 months'
this is
time.
a five.
I'm not
This is a
even
5 year.
sure.
Yeah.
This is a 5 or 10 year outlook.
future. But in 6
5
months'
years.
time, West Coast should have a decent draft haul.
Would have thought.
All right. North Melbourne.
That's a
no,
tough-
I'd say
I
North
don't
Melbourne. They
know.
got more in the door already.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Richmond.
Richmond.
Yeah, probably Richmond. I'm a little less sure about the Richmond thing, but yeah.
Well, Richmond going to have another handful of top
Yeah, we'll
tennis.
just see if they
Sure
pan out, though.
Melbourne.
I'd rather be St Kilda.
No, I think Melbourne's got better kids already.
Lindsay, Langford.
Yeah.
You'd want a couple
Windsor.
more good
Windsor.
mids. Yeah. But
So
I
they
think,
got Wilson, St Kilda, not Windsor.
and I think across
yeah,
the board,
sorry.
I would say.
And last but not least, Essendon.
No, I wouldn't want to be Essendon.
You-
Oh, yeah, did you pot them?
It just-
I
it
didn't
just-
pot
the
them.
pastor says
No,
you
I
potted
saw-
them on the broadcast.
I don't think I potted them. I just said they've got a tough run coming up. Like,
Oh.
no, I said that. No, I know what I did. I said they don't leave Melbourne for a month.
Oh, okay.
So I got one of those sneaky ones.
Sneaky
Hey,
little-
what'd you think of Ross? in the post-match presser.
That was an all-time Ross. That was classic Ross.
I love the sub being called early. Should happen far more often if you think you're a half-decent player.
Poor Hugo Garcia just becomes the scapegoat.
No, but he must have been given a role that he refused to do properly and said, see ya.
Watching that post-match presser, I got a bit of PTSD.
Oh, it's me too.
Me too. Who was the girl that he went back at? I enjoyed that her responses were, and I reckon, because early in the game or quarter time or whatever, calling the games, you just jot a couple of notes down.
Yeah.
And you know, inside 50s were 6 to 21.
Yeah.
And then, so when he hit her with the question back,
she had something.
She had ammunition ready to go.
There's
like,
nothing scarier
fantastic.
than going into a Ross presser in a lead up to a game, and you could never predict the mood. So they could win by 10 goals, and you think, oh, he'll be good today. Nah, he was angrier than ever. They could lose by 100 points, and he'd be fine. Like, there was no way to predict it.
No,
but
we should know who that girl was.
should track it down.
She held her own.
Stood up well.
And her point was bang on, and Ross had no other way to go than... I think you've summarised that well.
What about with the... What was it? What did she say? Was the word frustrated when you made the sub?
Regret.
And he goes, well, why would I regret it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because you then lost the player. Like,
So how many 2 quarters, half, whatever. That was the thing. My first year of being a footy journo was Ross, and last year of West Coast Wooshart. He was just a prick that year as well.
He was so grumpy that year.
And they told the lesson I took from that was always have a follow up.
You need to
In your back, like get ready to come.
Because Woosh's thing was like, what do you mean?
Yeah,
like,
he would do that all the time.
He'd be like,
how do you mean?
it's your connection between your forwards and back. What do you mean? Like
and then you come in with, you transition at 15th in the competition for going inside 50 off half back.
You had to have something, but if you didn't, and you were young, like you'd pack your pants like straight away. It was terrible.
No, I enjoyed that exchange.
I don't mind it, but it is a bit of a deflection and a bit of a
No, not
But he
Ross's
does that-
performance in it.
no
Hers.
Yeah, she's
10
outstanding.
out of 10.
But Ross ramps that up when they're in trouble too to try to bring it on himself.
Yeah, he does. Carlton,
The Blue Baggers.
they're back. Are they back?
Oh, I
That's
don't
my
know.
question.
Can't tell.
I'm not big on Geelong.
No.
So
The West Coast and North aren't in the same league as Geelong.
No, Geelong are different.
That's a real
different.
win.
I reckon those two teams are probably next to each other in terms of in round 24 where they finish.
It's the best game, Carlton's best performance of the year.
It's great.
Easily.
Don't know what it means
great.
contextually yet.
So they got so they got the Crows this week
In
in
Adelaide.
Adelaide, then St Kilda, Sydney, GWS. All winnable.
Minimum 2.
All winnable.
Minimum 2.
Right? The way Sydney and GWS are playing right now, you'd have to say they're winnable
They
games.
don't have a bad run at this point in time, do they?
They're ready to, I know.
They've had a good 7-week
block.
Very
Yeah.
good run. Harry Mackay, good signs. That's
His last
Great
quarter,
was exceptional.
a couple of good marks down the line, kicked a goal in the 3rd and 4th, I reckon.
Yeah,
And
I think he took 7 marks in the last quarter.
Up the ground, you forget how tall he is.
Yeah.
Until he gets those sort of half lead-up marks where he's in, some you just can't spoil
It was a great reminder of what he's capable of at
Yeah,
his best.
no, I
'cause
agree.
We
That
haven't
was
seen it for a
impressive.
while.
That was impressive.
Your man Hewitt, 29-1, big in the last quarter as well.
Kicked a good,
Really
big goal.
How'd it go? He said that. He said, I've never kicked that far in my
Do you
life.
know what it reminded me of at the time? The side bottom goal in the grand final. Where you're like, these old legs, they're going to go, shit, he's kicked that 55.
He's kicked it easy.
Yeah.
And the Hollands boys combined for 49 and a goal.
Yeah,
back.
Up and about.
Top 5 in the best and fairest this year.
Apparently.
Just need to fire him
Got to
up.
make a late run.
The one that was dominant, and I know the Geelong, the measuring stick's certainly not their rucks. Tom De Koning, I can't work out games where he grabs it out of the ruck and finds the pill, takes marks. And then you've got the game against West Coast where he had like one hit out, 0 disposals at quarter time. Like I can't understand.
The gap between his best and his worst is still a significant.
What he
How
did
old is
yesterday for the bits I saw were extraordinary. Like for a
25.
ruck and gets involved. And don't be wrong, there's a couple of the kicks that look like they're not going where his aims. But
it's that sometimes I'll talk about this test. If you bring a mate in from Sweden, right? You've never seen a game of footy, and you're like, hey, come to the Carlton Fremantle game this weekend, and the players
his
are
name be
warming up.
Henrik?
Yeah, sure.
Henrik.
You and your mate Henrik,
Toby
got
Trevalli
a
is
couple
this
of
new
beers,
Henrik's
and you're in they're doing the warm up,
Yeah.
and you just said to Henrik,
does Henrik have a girlfriend?
yeah, Svetlana, she's over as well.
And blonde?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they'd both
sure.
be big.
No, they're
They'd
Swedish.
both be
They're
rigs,
blonde.
right?
Yeah.
I've seen
And so
it.
Yeah.
you're at the footy, and you go,
Tanned?
of these players, of course, warming up. Who's the best player out there? Before they've seen a moment.
Yeah, okay.
And it's Tom De Koning.
Yeah.
You're going to go straight to him, this giant, blonde, leaping athlete. And
From
every
Sweden
now,
as well,
and
probably.
probably from Sweden too. They're probably naturally drawn to him.
Yeah,
but
big blonde.
that's who he is when he's on.
He was so dominant, just grabbing everything. And again, Geelong are not the benchmark, but Reece Stanley had been pretty good the last few weeks.
Yeah.
What's the best peak age for a ruck, you reckon? It's like 28, 29? They get a bit later.
Oh, it depends when they stop giving away free kicks.
However old Max Gawn is right now.
You're 35. All right, well, here, let's do a little. I've got Essendon, so let's do a little bit of an exercise because it was like I saw enough in the Anzac Day game that you're like, this is not,
Nah,
there's
the wheels
enough.
are off,
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. No, the wheels are currently off.
So you reckon I find the negative in Freo?
You find the negative in
after we just showed so much love with Oscar and I can't get out of my seat.
Oscar McDonald.
Oscar McDonald. I can't get out of my seat.
So okay. So I'm going to go through a list of names and tell me who's there when they're in finals again / ready to make a dip. So Archie Roberts.
Yeah.
Tick. Zach Merritt, he's 29.
What year is this, 2050?
No.
None of them will
Zach
be
Merritt's not there. Ben Hobbs.
No.
Well, they would hope
And
he is.
the other question is,
Age-wise,
is he
they
in
would
the
hope
team?
is.
He was quite good on Friday.
No, he wasn't. He
Nate
wasn't,
Caddy?
he wasn't good. He ended up going into play on.
Caddy, yes.
Yeah, Caddy, yes. He was. Is he going to make a late run at the Rising Star?
Is he eligible?
Yes.
It's a pretty good field.
Oh, but he was.
Yeah.
If you could get your hands on
You got
one.
you got money on him, don't you?
No.
Yeah.
This is his.
But-
He's starting the campaign.
Yeah.
But if you could get your hands on
Who
a young
votes on it?
kid,
Who
I
are
don't-
you hoping's
I don't
listening?
know. Someone punted on
King,
it.
Dave King. Yeah. All right, Sam Durham. He's only 20 years, 23.
yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Xavier Dersma, 24.
At that age,
possibly.
I hope so. Yeah.
Andrew McGrath, 26.
He's been playing well, McGrath.
last year or so, I suppose.
Yeah, right. So you're
Ben-
thinking 5 years away.
Yeah,
Ben
5+.
McKay, 27. Mackay.
Not there for any reason.
Jordan Ridley, 26.
He's not there for anything.
Yes.
Ridley's still there.
Ridley's still there.
Mason Redmond, he's 27.
No,
Maybe
you
a little too late.
no, you can't have
Nick
extra.
Martin, 24.
Yep.
Zach Reed, 23.
Yes.
Archie
Was-
Perkins.
No, I think I'm starting to see enough.
Harry
I like
Jones,
Archie Perkins.
24.
A lot of people say that, but show me the evidence.
Yeah, I know. It's more of a like. You think
Harry
it's-
Jones, I don't know. We're still waiting.
Yeah.
Jade Gresham, 27.
No.
And Kako, 18.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Of their
And they've
best
got
side.
a couple of good picks this year because Rose
Yeah,
traded
yes.
out.
Yeah.
So
They got a bloke in the VFL who's a youngster, Zach Johnson, who I'm looking forward to seeing.
Yeah.
Just seen
Yeah.
a few clips
So
of this.
I just-
A little bull.
I just feel like they may
Get him
be
in.
further along in the rebuild than we actually think.
I don't think they are. I think they're further behind than you
No,
think.
but I think they've got that core, and then they just need the young talent to top it off.
they need Caddy to be a monster.
Yes.
They need Caddy to be the best forward in the
Like,
comp
yeah,
to
they're still
start it.
4 or 5 years away, but I feel like there's a bit of a core there to build around. They just need the top end talent.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
yeah, well, that's the hard bit, isn't it?
Yeah, well, they got two. They're a couple.
You can get all the
Hey, really, let's go to Collingwood, and I'm going to show some love to Gain. Obviously, we've got the side bottom story, which is exceptional.
amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And the argument of, and he's no longer the 13th or 14th best player at Collingwood. He's clearly gone
best-
back up the
he's-
rung.
yeah.
Second to Nick Dacos.
Clearly gone back up the rung. But that was my point being the premiership stuff is that people are counting out these older blokes like side bottom, etc. Whereas you've got to play a 13 who's can hardly play on side bottom. Clearly they're going to be side bottom. But I noticed on the weekend a little run that Essendon had. Ned Long in the midfield. I just reckon he opens up so much.
You're big on Ned, aren't you?
Well, he's just big frame in there, and he doesn't try and do anything.
Yeah.
He's big monster frame. Obviously, as I said, side bottom's a story with 15
Is it
clearances.
weird that I think he looks like a player out of like a PlayStation game?
Yeah,
Like it automatically
100%,
generated.
and the kick and everything.
Yeah, like he's built like
Yeah.
a.
It's like you're on year
It's
10
a bit
of
rigid.
manager
It's
mode.
all rigid. But there was a run on that Essendon had where Durham kicked 2,
Yep.
and there might have been 3 or 4 other goals in that patch. Ned Long, I don't think, was on the ground for any of them. And then when his big frame gets in there, side bottom gets a bit fruity, Dacos does his thing again. I just love that piece, and maybe that's what they thought Perryman could have been as well. It was just your meat and 3 veg, get the job done, provide the others to be the
Can I ask,
pavlova.
what happens when Tom Mitchell plays 2 good games in the VFL?
Nothing.
He stays out,
Ned Long doesn't go out.
but Mitchell doesn't because that's the
No.
role, isn't it?
No.
It's a similar role.
Mitchell-
Yeah,
Just
similar. He's 194 centimetres.
Yeah, no, he's massive.
It's
But
a
you're saying
different-
Titch is behind Ned Long.
behind.
Oh, yeah.
behind,
Mate, Titch is a
behind,
long.
behind.
What's his injury?
Foot. There was some foot stuff, and then he came back, and then he had to ramp it. Similar to Mills.
Yeah.
Oh no, we're going to
Back
back it
is-
off. Oh, we're going to go again.
Mixed day.
Got another year after this, Mitchell. So
Really?
it's
Hey,
not-
I wish him well because he was a fine player. Mixed day.
yeah, 6 to 8 weeks MCL.
Okay.
Not
I
the
actually
worst.
think Collingwood will play better without the 3 talls.
Yeah, because the question would be, does Cox come in?
No, I hope not. Because
then
what
who's
they,
the
what they
backup
did at
ruck?
Brisbane without the skunk,
Yeah.
Membry,
Yeah.
and Membry came back. I don't know. The backup ruck's a bit of a myth. Mate, people are putting midfielders in there now. Ollie
true.
Wines is rucking, like just It's 5 minutes a quarter.
Sydney. Okay. Geez, that was another poor performance. Your man,
They're hard to watch.
your
too.
man Hayward, 6 touches, no goals.
I should be list manager.
Yeah.
750,000.
Okay, so the forward line. It's bad, right? And
Are we-
at the
are we-
moment,
are
there's
we
no
able to talk
Marty and
about-
there's no McDonald.
Are we able to talk about it?
Well, what
I'm
do you mean?
nervous about the abuse we copped last time we spoke about Sydney's forwards.
Oh,
I feel like we've been proven right.
Yeah,
Even though those guys aren't
I'm
playing.
still not commenting.
where's
Those
that
guys
lady?
aren't, they're not actually playing. So it's
So
not.
where's McDonald?
He was in the
setback
VFL
again.
and then he had a massive setback, so it could be like another 2 months.
Oh, right. I knew because they were talking about him being selected. And I was
yeah,
like,
nah, he was that close.
Well, they got Nick Blakey.
So
there forward
his
now.
is it well, Nick Blakey was good in the last quarter. I wrote that down, but I don't know. Maybe that's the move. I feel like as soon as Callum Mills is back, Isaac Heaney has to go forward and stay there.
He's their
Yeah,
best
but
forward at the moment.
I know
But-
he's an elite midfielder,
Oh, no, I don't disagree with what you're saying.
but he's the only one that looks like he's going to do anything.
I get it, but he can't even carry that team as a forward.
But no one else can.
no,
So they have to
he
try.
won't be able to.
But what are you going to do? Just not do it then?
No,
Someone
you have
has
to.
to
Have
have
to
a
don't
forward
get me
line.
wrong. You have to try.
Do you put him and Blakey down there and just
What-
get weird?
Yeah.
Just get super weird?
Freddie.
Maybe, and Papley,
Yeah.
and just go.
Well, he's still out for a while, but yeah.
But
Are
whenever
you
they're
saying
ready to go,
we want to see Fruity Cox?
we want to get fruity.
Yeah.
Get the Kama Sutra out and just
Get it
make
out,
it up,
just
mate.
Get Fruity.
Get it out there.
Big Cox getting
Try
Fruity.
some stuff.
God,
like-
God help it, putting McCartan forward.
yeah.
We don't want to do that.
No,
No,
also,
no, yeah, that's not. That's
so you could argue with Blakey down back, you know, that you don't get as much headless chook. But if
No,
you-
Headless
you
Sugar,
can
the
replace
forward
it.
line's fine.
I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, Headless is
I know
fine.
the game was basically over, but he was active.
Yeah, but maybe there's something in the water at Sydney to be active in the last quarter. Because in fairness, Francis worked hard yesterday. He did work
Yeah,
hard.
yeah.
My old mate, the Bison. I don't actually think he took a football clean. Fumbled.
He did fumble. His kicking was still good.
everything. Jeez.
One of those
But you're
days.
right, he's
One of those
fumbling.
days he fumbled
But it's that
everything.
It's that footy up there.
It's 28 degrees,
but it's
hot,
always slippery.
slippery. Yeah,
and if you're a clean user of the footy, you're like, what's happening
now
here?
man, Bicey, you just
Good kicking though.
yeah.
The kicks were good.
you got to get it in his
Yeah.
hands, just as a handball to the chest.
Yeah.
Where are
Well,
we
he's, I mean, Mills. I just think the Heaney thing has to happen.
Oh no, they have to come up with something.
Something has to change.
We'll
They're not going to make the 8 anywhere near it the way they're playing.
No, God,
No,
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 no, gone.
Got to change it.
They're not going to. They're getting 9 academy kids at the end of the year, and they'll be fine.
Yeah, they come straight back.
Yeah,
up.
they've actually got
And Jamara Ugle-Hagan.
They're going to actually funnel the ones from the Gold Coast to Sydney for a couple of
Yeah,
years
yeah.
and funnel them
Just to
back.
fix it up.
Yeah,
They're going to get Jamara, 8 academy kids. Mills and Goulden will come back. Palace
West,
will come
West
back.
Coast will trade pick 1 and 2 for pick 38, so they'll give them that. And
They'll get James
And
Jordan.
Peter Laddams.
Yeah, Peter
Laddams.
Laddams.
Doesn't need a ruckman. So
Laddams and Francis coming back.
All right. Well, let's
funny if it wasn't almost true.
yeah. Swap over to West Coast while we're talking about it. What did you think about the Brady Hoff midfield move? Didn't mind it. 23 touches, 6
My
tackles,
initial
3
thought
clearances,
was
solid citizen.
Well, my initial thought was, isn't he the only guy who's winning his
Yes,
position?
yeah, that's also
every
true.
week.
Well, we did that vote, didn't we, of what players would get a game in a top 8
And he was
club,
around,
and he was the 50-50 only one we had.
Yeah,
was
he
Hoff as a back pocket.
He was the one guy.
But maybe he said, and maybe McWalter's looked at it and gone, we are torching this kid.
Well, we had McGovern there too, didn't we?
Oh, no, McGovern, I think we ruled out being 34. He was injured at the time.
was
Just
injured,
done his
yeah,
groin.
yeah.
He was injured.
Maybe McWalter, just in all seriousness, goes, this kid's played for 3 years now.
Yeah.
He's won 4
Yeah.
games.
Yeah.
He's lost more by 100 than he's won, probably.
He's done everything we've asked him to.
Maybe it's time just to let him mix it up a fraction.
What I will say is with McQualter, and I know he's copping a bit of heat online already, which is very fast.
This issue at West Coast has absolutely zero
no.
to do with Andrew
But what
McWalter.
he's doing with like Oscar back, Hoff in the middle, trying different players in different positions, I like it.
Oscar Allen can't play anywhere else bar defence from now on.
Yeah, I thought he was.
No, for no
borderline
other reason
okay.
that
Yeah,
if he plays
yeah.
forward, it's for Reid or Williams, and you can't have that.
Yeah,
That
and
can't happen.
I thought it was. He tried. He's
Yeah,
not
no,
a
I was a
defender.
fan of it.
Yeah.
But he can't take a West Coast right now would be better with Oscar Allen playing forward.
Oh yes,
That would be
West
right
Coast
now.
in
Yes.
5 years, that won't.
But they can't have it because he's going to leave.
yeah.
And you can't have games put into Oscar Allen in positions where 2 kids would be
Yeah,
getting developed.
I think what McCloud was doing is going back to square one with this rebuild thing. He's going, right, let's see what we got. Let's
Yeah.
try everyone in different spots. Let's play different guys. Let's give it a whirl. And that's what's going to happen here. You just got to, unfortunately for Eagles fans, the last 3 years was a false start.
No, they didn't even put their tracksuit on to go to the stadium.
Yeah.
They didn't
The
even.
bag went
So
back.
the tracksuit's
For
on
some
now.
reason, they thought that this rebuild had started.
Yeah, it hasn't.
And that's
now
kind of
it
like,
has.
and you want midfielders. If anyone's any good, they're like, oh, you're good. Are you a good midfielder? And the worst the case is, no, just go back, be a good halfback again.
Yeah. All right, you're up.
Richmond Football Club. Look, they're okay, but let's just bullet them.
Oh, I was going to bullet my next team.
It's a bullet. We're in bullet territory.
We are in bullet territory. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Richmond.
I should have gone earlier.
I'm the only person in the world that took overs on your 2 wins.
It's a lot of bullets for Richmond, though. I reckon we bulleted them 3 times this year. We've got to be careful.
There's going to be a
you
limit.
want to be careful.
Yeah, we got to have a limit.
We've got to be careful. We'll let you get this one in.
No, well-
but next week we have to talk about
We'll just swap between Sam
Make sure you
Lawler
give him
and
Richmond again
Luke
next
Traynor.
week, so he has to do it.
Well,
Okay.
I don't really have a lot.
Now I'll go to North Melbourne.
We could talk about Noel Bolter.
No.
No, let's go.
Talk about
Let's move on.
that. North Melbourne, Paul Curtis, all Australians so far.
3 weeks.
3 weeks. How do you
That's
feel about
harsh,
that?
eh?
I thought, don't get me wrong.
He didn't turn him.
No, but I get that.
He
but that's
could have
not,
turned
that's-
himself so
that's
he didn't
very
crash him.
different to slinging, not turning.
Yeah.
Because the slinging action is when you do turn someone.
Yeah.
It's, it's the opposite to what people are getting
You
weeks
got
for.
a half turn. Like you
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
turn him all the
No,
way.
but
And
occasionally
Curtis turned himself so he didn't get him in the back as well.
But
So
it
he was like, there was some duty of care there, but just
No.
not.
Look,
about
any
all.
other player, I'd say he wouldn't have the strength to do it, but he does bench press like 300
No, but
kilos.
that's not a hard thing to smash someone like that. Forward. That's the easiest thing in the
Yeah.
world
Yeah.
to hurt them.
But could he
Use
just
their
turn?
momentum.
Oh, turning, yeah, he could have rolled them. But sometimes when you're running like that, you're like, you've sort of fake running, and then you're like, hang on, he hasn't kicked it yet. Shit, he has. I'm going to get him. I'm going to get him. I'm going to get him. And then you're that razzed up that you've got him.
I'm going to get him.
You've got him. We saw it again in the game yesterday with the Carlton Geelong, who ran down. Might have been Harry Mackay ran him down, and they were just so shocked that I've got him. That
Yeah.
you bang straight into his back.
There was one of
buried
them the other day, Jordan Clark with Neil Bullen. He didn't get into his back, but it was like he chased him for so long, and everyone was going, "Why hasn't Neil Bullen kicked the footy?"
Yeah, kick the football, mate.
But Jordan Clark's doing it. I'm only chasing so JL doesn't
Yeah.
find it
Yeah.
on tape. But then you go, shit, he hasn't kicked it.
Yeah,
He hasn't kicked it.
yeah.
I'm going to get him.
I've actually got him.
But you get so razzed up that I reckon Paul Curtis has just gone whack.
Okay, so
I don't think 3 weeks. No, I don't.
It's
He's
harsh.
we think it should have just been
in the back.
in the back, free kick play.
Yeah.
Well, Sin got concussed. That was a problem.
Yeah, I didn't think he got him
Yeah.
in the back, though.
Well,
It was more that he landed, his head hit the ground.
Yeah, but he
and hit
landed
both
in
arms.
front.
that's where it comes from, though.
Went forwards, yeah.
It's outcome based sometimes.
Yeah, but who else got concussed?
Sometimes.
Just because people concuss doesn't mean you have
Geez,
to
that was a
miss
weird
weeks.
game of footy. Like, hats off to North for giving it a crack, and they almost
How
stole
much
it.
I was cheering for North for
Adelaide
Hodgie on Tuesday night
Ah,
to tweet Kane Corns
Yeah,
and
yeah.
say,
Nice buds.
here we
I
come.
can tell you what, that Horn Francis decision is a conversation is very different if they don't win that game.
100%.
Oh, yeah, massively.
Very different.
Which is, probably the Harley, because they are not
All
winning.
right,
Yeah, correct.
We'll wrap it up with Melbourne again, a pretty uninspiring
Are you wearing
team.
another Steak Hill hat, by the way?
I've had this one for 6 months or so.
Sorry, keep going.
This is the latest range.
Yeah.
I'm about due for another one, though. That's the problem when you're a bald man who's sweaty. You go through a lot of
You
hats.
rotate them.
Yeah. So there's discussions all the time at the moment. Max Gawn is probably the best ruckman of the he's definitely the best ruckman of the decade. Is he the best since 2000? It's between him and Cox. Just very quickly, first thoughts. Which way would you lean?
Oh, I'm a Cox man.
Oh, Cox, for sure.
yeah, I think I'm
Yeah.
I just think
Cox
the
as
I was
way-
actually thinking about this the other day. I think it's easy to have recency bias. Max has been unbelievable. To me, it's 1 and 2.
yes, they're
Like,
1 and 2.
yeah, and-
since 2000.
Who else is in the
No,
conversation?
you can go further back than that.
Well, what 1990?
I
So
reckon
this
you
is
go-
part of my.
If you go 1990 onwards, you like that early space. You're
National
talking about
era.
guys like Salmon. You're talking about Madden. Like you're talking about
Did the,
Everett.
did
like,
the fish kick? How many goals did the fish
a
kick?
lot.
He kicked a
Yeah.
lot.
Fish kicked a lot, like 800 and something.
Yeah, the fish
But
kicked
this is
a
kind
lot.
of my point. There's a few AFL media, not AFL media specifically, although they are
Who are
Bad for this.
anointing Max?
the greatest of all time.
No.
No, he's not.
No,
No,
he's not.
it's Cox. Cox changed
Well,
the role.
Well, yes, again, when you talk about the greatest of all time, you can't throw that stuff out because Polly Farmer changed football.
Yeah, a different era.
Like this
yeah.
is, but this is basically
But
you
you
can't say greatest
can-
of all time, and it's like the two guys who you just saw.
Yeah, and you can.
Pull back a little bit.
I think you can compare Cox and Gawn because they're relatively close
Yes.
in era. And Max has been sensational, and this is not taking anything away from him. I just think that Cox is the best to
Cox was the
ever
best.
do
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
That
Cox could
I've-
kick.
That I've seen.
Yeah.
That I've seen. At short versions of it, Sean Wren was remarkable for a couple of years there, had a lot of injuries, so never really got to go on with it. McKernan for a year or two was sensational.
Yeah.
Like there's been a lot of good ruckmen
So
over
we'll
the
probably
years.
come up to
Sanderland's had a couple of really dominant seasons.
we'll
He
probably
was a
come up to
physical
like
freak.
150. How many years is the AFL? What was the one in the late 90s? Was that 100 years?
Yeah, we're at 1897, wasn't it? Something around.
So we come at like 150 is not far out
Not
of
that far away,
So when
no.
they do that team,
yeah.
that'll be the question. It'll probably be between. Well, I don't know what the next few years looks like. I don't know.
Yeah,
Some
well, they might
gun
put,
prodigy coming
they
through.
might put Farmer.
But it'll be Farmer or those guys.
I've looked at this. I think it is Cox. And look, there may be some WA stuff in there for us. We were here for it, but there may be some Vic stuff for the Gaunt side.
Yeah, which
So-
generally tends to win.
Both sensational.
I would say that even the Vic side would probably say Cox.
Yeah, I think so. And also, just to be clear, you can't always count the All Australian stuff because
Yeah, because it might have been
well, it depends
no
who
good
you're up
ruckman.
against.
Yeah.
You might just be the dominant ruckman for that era.
How many years did Paul Salmon play for?
Wasn't it like 17 or something?
19.
Yeah.
Jesus, I think it
It's
is.
a lot.
I just tried to quickly count.
I
it.
loved Paul Salmon. He
From
was one of my favourite players.
1983
Yeah,
through to 2002.
yeah, freak.
Kicked 500
that all?
and
He's doing a lot of rucking.
61 goals.
Shit, I thought it was way more than that.
No, he did. Well, he rucked.
He rucked a lot,
324 games. There you
Rucked
go.
a lot. Yeah.
There's the Paul Salmon
I
stat
loved-
you didn't think you were going to get
I
today.
loved
No,
Paul
you-
Salmon.
First ever AFL player I met was Paul Salmon.
Really? Because
Is that why you went Essendon?
At the
or-
Meetung pub.
Oh,
And we were
Meetung.
young. Like, we had no players from anywhere near our area playing AFL football. And he was at the Meetung pub and we were kicking the footy and he came out and kicked the footy with us
Wow.
and let us take a hanger on him. Like he was
what
on
How
year?
did he-
What
yeah.
year would this have been?
shit, maybe like 94 or something
so
like
he's well
that.
and truly
I might
still
have been
playing.
6.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no, he was still playing.
How'd you take a hanger on
Yeah,
him?
that's
No,
what I
no,
was
he
thinking.
would get down on all fours for us, and we just jumped all over him.
Oh, what a guy.
Yeah, no,
He was
my
out with
first
back
ever,
issues.
first ever experience, other than Paul.
Did you know
Paul
who he
Gear,
was?
But, yeah, shit, yeah,
Because what would you have been, 94? Like,
6
Jeez, and you,
or 7,
you
6,
already
7.
knew who Paul
Maybe
Salmon
7. Yeah, I was full nuffy, mate.
was? Yeah, right.
This is sleep in essence.
Had the
Socks, boxes,
cards.
jumper,
Wow.
beanies, everything.
Well, he
Paul
was
Salmon.
it was Sports Nuts apparel. Yeah, he's Sports Nuts.
All right, let's wrap it up.
Hardball Gets is brought to you by Tab Touch. Got the touch? Download the Tab Touch app today. Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. We'll see you tomorrow for the mailbag. Talk to you then.